Hey, it's Lester2582 coming back at you with another video, and today I'll be reviewing a Hot Wheels diecast collection. It's not going to just be one diecast, but rather three. Although I wish I could pick up more of these, but these are the ones I was actually able to acquire kind of cheap. I picked up one, then I picked up another, and then I picked up a third one. I was like, instead of doing a review for like each of them separately, you might as well just review all of them. Not because they're all radically different cars. Ironically, kind of from the same series, but same racing series, I should say. But they are different cars and has its own different story and such. But they're all the same series, all the same racing categories and everything. But anyways, the three cars in question are gonna be the Riley and Scott Mark III, the Oldsmobile Aurora GTS 1, and the third one is going to be the Panos LMP01 Evo. So, as you can tell, all these are from the 2003 Hot Wheels Hall of Fame series, which is kind of like their premium, I guess, because it's kind of like a premium line of cars. And of course, it's supposed to. There's like I don't even know how many cars are released in this set in 2003, because there's road cars, the concept cars, even some the Diora 2 made an appearance, which I was thinking of it, but honestly, wheels look a little strange, and it's supposed to look like the first one, which I already have, but maybe in the future, who knows. And then they released a couple race cars of it, and it's cool that they didn't just choose like a NASCAR. Ironically, they didn't have NASCAR in anywhere in this set, but they had the All-American Racers Plymouth with Dan Gurney, the Trans Am Plymouth. They had the Michael Schumacher Ferrari Formula One car. And they had a Ferrari 33 SP, which I really want to pick up just to have all these, but at least I still have a kind of its cousin car. It's a car that kind of raced in the same category. And some other ones, but these are the three that are actually kind of easy, somewhat, to acquire. Or I guess if you want to call it the least expensive to acquire. But one of them I actually did buy with two cars, which one of them I already did a review on a while ago, but I think I kind of mentioned that I wanted to do a video on them. But then I got some others, and I was like, I'm gonna hold off, and yeah. So I've had these for a while, but now we'll have our chance to open it. So which one should we start first? I think we're gonna go numerical, not by when they were released or the order number, but more rather their car numbers. So number 4, number 11, number 50. So we're going to put these aside for now. I'll give you each detail, or each its own packaging, how it looks. So of course the first one we're taking a look at is the Riley and Scott Mark III, which is actually my first Riley and Scott diecast that I have now. And I think I chose a really, really good one. This is, I believe, one of the only rubber-tired ones they've actually released of this model. Well, we got a nice close-up of the diecast. It has its trading card, which is really cool. Milestone moments, 1996 Daytona 24 Hour, which is what this diecast is supposed to represent. Got milestone moments, Hot Wheels Hall of Fame, collector card, special paint jobs, and deluxe rubber tires, quotation marks, ages 8+. Let's take a look at the back here. It has a huge description on there. I'm not going to read all of that, of course. We got the back of the trading card, which I guess if you could read if you like, but we're also going to take a look at it after. Yeah. Collect all three. Hall of Fame, galleries, blah, 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 whatever. Hot Wheels Highway 35, interestingly enough. But I think it's because the Highway 35 is supposed to signify it's Hot Wheels' 35th anniversary. That's kind of why they did 35 everything, but whatever. And then we got an eBay logo, interestingly enough. Ironically, I did not, this Riley and Scott car, I did not get from eBay. I got it from Mercari, but we'll cut the camera and cut open the box because unfortunately kind of had to destroy the packaging to get to the car, but I think it'll be worth it because I also do like how this car looks, as well as the other ones. Okay, after just destroying the packaging, unfortunately, because like I said, you kind of have to do that. It's not a cardboard, it's actually a paper, somewhat back. But it's not like a random paper or whatever. I might keep the box, of course. Even though they all look the same except for the trading card. But the diecast aside, there's a little trading card that comes with it. And a little piece of plastic on the side. Yeah. nice looking photo of the car. That's how a car looked like in real life. And here's the back. I'm not going to read everything, of course, but you can pause and read that if you'd like, just to know the history of this car. It's pretty interesting. Let me get my trusty turntable on here, because hopefully it shouldn't be able to roll. Get the little plastic out of here. Let me move the camera down there. Now, of course, this diecast is not going to be metal because it has rubber tires and the metal body, of course, but it's not a premium model where it's all metal, unfortunately. But man, this diecast, this car in general looks amazing. This type of racing series, I think, what is the open cockpit cars? What do they call it? The LMP 675 class, is it? Or LMP 900? I don't remember. Well, what I recognize it more is, well, it doesn't say the series, but, the US RRC, I've talked about it before with this panels that I have on the side, this one. And they had this was their top class. I think it was called the Can-Am class, but it was obviously nothing like the original Can-Am from the 60s and 70s, but, it's still cool, open cockpit. They were fast. They were kind of like their prototypes class. But yeah, I love this one. But this car is supposed to represent the Rolex 24 1996 winner, I believe, which this team was, I'm reading from the card here, they were, of course, the drivers for this team was Wayne Taylor, Jim Pace, and Scott Sharp, who, what the description is saying that they won the closest race in the Daytona 24-hour, like, ever. And they finished, wow, only 1 minute in front of the Ferrari 333 SP that was driven by Max Papis, interestingly enough. And after this, they won the 12 Hours of Sebring, so they won 2 of the big races in IMSA competition in 1996. And they're even saying that in 1996 they won 7 out of the 10 races. Oh my God. The people call the new racing boring, especially like, Tyler Reddick winning a lot of races in NASCAR and Alex Palou winning a lot of races in IndyCar or F1. People talk about Max Verstappen. How did people survive if they really don't like the racing now? How would they survive just seeing the same car win over and over again before and they didn't complain? Well, that's a separate video, so I don't know. But yeah, this is a cool car. Of course, Riley and Scott, I believe it was the last names of each of the car's builders. I forgot. It doesn't really say on the... Oh, well, it does say Bob and Bill Riley, and Mark Scott. So it was 3 people that were in development of this car. And of course, this is the Mark III. Let's take a closer look at this, because you don't really see this on YouTube, honestly. It's probably your first time looking at it. Or maybe even your first time knowing that there was a series called the Hall of Fame in 2003. But whatever. Interesting color. It's white, blue with a little bit of red and yellow, but it works. Surprisingly, it works. Has the wheels on there, no tire letters, unfortunately, unlike the photo on the box, or the little trading card. I think it had Goodyear tires on it, I believe. I don't remember. But it still looks nice. I like the fat tires on the back. That looks really cool. With the gold plastic. It's not like gold paint, it's just gold plastic wheels. We got a huge defect right there, where the IMSA logo is supposed to be there, and then the Exxon's World Sports Car Championship logo is. Oh boy, that doesn't look good at all. Anyways, we got MCI. Well, it's not Goodyear, it's Pirelli. So that's a mistake on my part. I did not notice that. We got Konica on the side, Riley and Scott Racing, Danka, Oldsmobile. Yeah, it was an Oldsmobile powered car, interestingly enough, and it sounds amazing. I saw a video of it. This car screams. We got the front end plate. We got BBS and Hella. On the front, we got Konica, Danka. That's going to be the main sponsors of this car. Pirelli and Exxon on both sides. It's supposed to have headlights, but I think it was like this in real life. We got Oldsmobile on the front. We got a classic IMSA logo on the front. That's really cool. That's actually officially licensed. And we got the names on there. So Jim Pace, Scott Sharp, and Wayne Taylor. I don't even know what that says. This camera does not like to focus at all. Cat Tech. And then Aurora V8. Of course, it's an Oldsmobile Aurora. I think that's what it's supposed to represent. White rear ring with the blue painted on the sides, number 4. And we got tail lights. That's pretty cool. You don't really see that in old diecast. Well, it's not even that old, but still, it's old to me. It's older than me. And yeah, there's an open cockpit. No driver. We got some molding detail of the seat and the steering wheel, but other than that, it's pretty bare bones. It looks nice. It looks cool. This one has a Hella and BBS logo on this one. This only says BBS. I don't know if that's an error or if that's actually supposed to be accurate. That would be interesting if it is. And then, of course, we got a nice looking Exxon World Series World Sports Car Racing Fuels logo, and the IMSA logo that's actually not shot up. And unfortunately, plastic base on the bottom. Copyright 2000, Riley Scott Mark III. So this casting wasn't really that old when they got this, I guess, premium treatment. It looks nice. I've been getting more into this like retro sports car racing stuff, and there's this one that I decided I wanted to find. Thankfully I did. Now I have it. And I think it's my first, like I said, my first Riley and Scott Mark III that I own. But hopefully it won't be my last unless if I find some nice ones at the flea markets or something. Yeah, that is actually car of 1 now. So I'm going to put it aside for now. And the next one is going to be kind of interesting because I actually already kind of own this car. A couple of versions of this casting, and one of them that looks almost like this one. But this is definitely a nicer version of it. This is the Oldsmobile Aurora GTS1. We were talking about the Oldsmobile with the Riley and Scott Mark III. Now we got the actual Oldsmobile Aurora. Of course, Hall of Fame collection. Nice looking photo of the trading card there. And a nice car there. Let's take a look at the back here. Not gonna waste too much time. Let me cut again. This one says eBay. This one I actually did buy from eBay. I don't know why they had that, honestly. I can't even tell you why. But let me cut to actually cut the car. Alright, number 2 of 3 of destroying packages. We got the nice little trading card here. This is an awesome looking photo of this car. Yeah, it looks cool. And we got the back on there, which I'll keep on the side unless if I want to do some history stuff. It's going to be my mini script there. And get the diecast out of its plastic prison that hasn't been gone now in over 20 years. And there is the Oldsmobile out of its box. Alright, I was just having some technical difficulties with my thing dying, and I just changed these batteries maybe a month ago. They should be lasting more than a month, but whatever. It doesn't even do much, it just spins, but whatever. Anyways, we have this diecast out of its box. It looks so much better, so much more better than the $1 version that came out in 1999 or 2000, I remember. Because this is the original one. The color's pretty off on it. It looks good. It looks really good for a $1 car, but if you want to get one that looks more accurate, unfortunately this is the only way to actually get one that looks really nice. I will say, however, the wheels are not the best in the world, because in real life I had these type of BBS Trans Am wheels as the $1 car just fell. It had these very deep dish wheels on the rear, and then the front are just kind of normal BBS wheels on it. This one doesn't, and they're all gold, which looks a little interesting. I mean, it still looks good, but I think the $1 one actually did have the actual looking lace wheels on the front. But it still looks really nice. This one was actually available in kind of limited quantities, so because they had 2 versions of the first edition of that car. One was full blue, and that was made more than the actual livery one, which is number 11. And they did one that actually looks very more accurate, not super accurate, but it looks better. And let's take a closer look at it. Now, of course, this is supposed to represent the Oldsmobile Aurora GTS1 that raced in the 1997. I guess if you want to call it IMSA still, but at this point it was now called the Professional Sports Car Racing Series. And it was driven by Jack Baldwin, but also driven by Gio Robinson, who I believe also owned the car, if I remember. Yeah, I'm free because it ran for Robinson Racing, and it says on the front there. And it's kind of funny because the trading card was mentioning that that Jack Baldwin was seeking the sponsorship from Mattel and Hot Wheels again, and then he promised then he'd win Sebring. Then Sebring came around, and he won. So he definitely he did very well. Uh, Jack Baldwin, of course, was more known for driving the Trans Am Camaro, which I also did a review on, and this is an absolutely beautiful car. I absolutely love it. But this Oldsmobile was kind of like, because that was Trans Am and this is IMSA, so more sports car, more professional. This is like the top level of sports car racing in the U.S. But at the time it was called the Professional Sports Car Series, and then we're heading into a split with the USRC and everything. There's different stuff happening. But this car looks stunning. It looks great. This is, I believe, the only two versions you could get the only version you could get of an accurate like Robinson Racing Hot Wheels Oldsmobile. But let's take a closer look at it because it looks really amazing. The front end painted Oldsmobile logo on the front, Robinson Racing, and a bunch of different contingency logos like BBS, KNV Racing, or is that KV Racing? Racers, or I don't even know what that says. Hella got Hot Wheels Mattel leading the way, which quite honestly the best Hot Wheels logo of all time. Number 11, got a little paint thing that's kind of unfortunate. You got more paint things on there that's not good. Got Exxon on the front, which does look a little strange because it doesn't look like the actual Exxon logo. It just kind of looks like they put Exxon stylized, but not the font itself. And we got the side here. We got the pretty thick rubber tires with the gold painted rims, which, like I said, are inaccurate, but it still doesn't look terrible. Got the nice Hot Wheels design on the side. The flame, number 11, a bunch of different logos. We got S1, which I believe was the category it ran in IMSA, or the GTS one, which is hence the name, the Aurora GTS one. Then we got an Exxon logo, which I believe is supposed to say Supreme GT Racing Fuels or something like that. GT, we got a professional sports car racing logo, interestingly enough. That's not something you see often. We got Tilton, I believe it's the exhaust company. And we got the rear. We have a track system logo. That's pretty cool. A red striping on the side along with the blue. Another red stripe on top. The rear, no taillight detail, but it's alright. And the stripe wraps around the entirety of the car with the whole blue plastic rear wing. And there's a side, it has the little exhaust printing on the side and actually molded as opposed to the other side it didn't. And yeah, and then the base plastic again. These actually have treaded tires, interestingly enough. I think they run slicks. I would imagine they would want to run slicks unless it's raining, of course. But yeah, this is a nice looking car. I love Jack Baldwin. His sponsorship with Hot Wheels was pretty influential with nowadays race team liveries. He definitely pioneered that. And yeah, it's not really someone that you really recognize, or not too many regular Hot Wheels collectors recognize, unless you're a racing fan like myself who recognize Jack Baldwin as kind of the pioneer of the race team livery and design. But this car was also owned. It was also owned by Robinson Racing. So, what was the other driver? Yeah, Gio Robinson. So, yeah, very happy to have this one. Now let's move on to the next car, which is definitely going to be very interesting and actually kind of current, or could be considered kind of controversial, which is the Panos LMP 01 Evo, which this version, or this casting has been made before, and I actually do have one, which I'll show y'all, but it's a different color and everything. But this one is representing the ALMS 2002 Panos that won the inaugural and so far only running of the Washington, D.C. Grand Prix, which, when I mention controversial, I might mean controversial, not what's happening today, or also what's happening nowadays, but also the past, and so on and so forth. But yeah, another Hall of Fame collection. Pretty interesting looking car, which we'll definitely take a little talk about a lot. Nice photo of the trading card there. And here's the back. Another eBay logo. This one I also did buy from eBay, so only 2 out of the 3 I bought from eBay. So let's cut one more time to cut the car out of its box. Alright, this is going to be the third and final box cutting of this video. It might be a super unnecessarily long video for y'all, and I do apologize, but you know, I like to take my time and just looking at each of the cars. You know, that's what I do. And yeah, here's the trading card. Panos LMP01 Evo. Nice photo. It was after the race that happened, so this is really cool. And here is the back of the trading card. You could read that and pause it. Of course, I am going to keep it to the side just so I could see if there's any fun facts we'd like to know about this specific car, which obviously, the elephant in the room, is the diecast itself. Of course, I have my I guess somewhat trusty turntable. I think that's what we're going to call it now, because it's been giving me problems today. But yeah, this is a really interesting car. You know, Panos, you know, I love Panos. I mean, look, I have the 143rd scale Panos Esperante right there on the side. But like I mentioned, I already have a casting, a version of this car, and it was actually a basics from, I believe, 2002 or 2001. I don't remember exactly. This was one of the first colors they released. But I believe the first color was, I believe, in green or something like that. And yeah, it's red. It's kind of based off a real car. Number 11 with the American flag on there, and American Le Mans Series logo on the side, which of course in real life this car was part of the ALMS at the time. And like I said, it won the 2002 Cadillac Grand Prix of Washington DC, which was the first and only time it was ran up until this year, where of course the government just announced, well, not just announced, it's been out for a while, that they're going to run a Washington, D.C. Grand Prix around the National Mall in Washington, D.C., of course. So it's going to be called the Freedom 250, and it's going to be a one and done. So they're going to do it once, and they're probably never going to do it again, which is kind of what happened to the 2002 Grand Prix of Washington, D.C. They ran it that 1 year, and they were supposed to do it for like 10 years. They had a contract to do it for 10 years, but of course opposition from the community kind of put a halt to those plans, and eventually that was the only time they ran it. But it's going to be interesting to see the new Grand Prix that's going to be taking place later this year. Of course, that's going to be headlined by IndyCar, and that event at the time in 2002 was headlined by the ALMS, but they also had Trans Am and the Star Mazda series, I believe, and some other little series as well. But anyways, this Panos is interesting because, of course, the engine is in the front as opposed to usually it's in the rear. I believe it was the only, what do they call it, the mall prototype car that ran with the front engine. But it looks stunning. It looks great. You know, many people might consider this car to look ugly, but it looks great to me. But I guess let's take a look at the finer details on here. So we got the Panos badge on the front, Michelin logos on the front. As I just noticed, I think someone misspelled Michelin on the front. I think they're missing an I. And I don't mean like an I. I mean the letter I. Oh my god, it's right on this side, but it's missing on the left side. Oh my god, I'd never seen that before. It just says Michelin, not Michelin. Michelin. There we go. Oh my god, I've never seen. Is this universal or is this on mine? Everybody check yours if you actually own this car and see if it actually says Michelin on it as opposed to Michelin on there. Wow, I've never seen that before. Anyways, going past the fact, you got the front headlights there, which are all black, even though obviously they turn on when you turn them on, but this is what it looks like when it's off. You got Panos and Bosch on both sides. You got the stars, and we got the stripes. Of course, super American here. A lot of American flags on there. You got panosmotorsports.com. I think that website still exists, but it's not motorsports anymore. I think it's just, they just show regular cars, or it's the museum now. And we got the Michelin tire letters on there. Looks really cool with the super thick tires, and it looks like the same tires and the wheels that are on the Riley and Scott car. Even thicker on the rear with Michelin. Got the flames on there. That's kind of cheesy, but it looks cool for some reason. We got an IMSA logo, the classic IMSA logo, but at the time this was of course the American Le Mans series. Just IMSA was the sanctioning body name. We got BBS. Some other little logos I can't even read. Number 50. There was actually two of these cars. It was number 50, and I believe, I don't remember if it was number 51. I don't remember exactly. And of course, it's the Spirit of America. Of course, that would make sense. You're in Washington, D.C. How could you not? The American Le Mans Series, number 50. Open cockpit, but no driver. Pretty bare bones interior. And there's a couple of the drivers. I think it was Jan Magnussen and I believe it was David Brabham. Excuse me. Jan Magnussen and David Brabham drove this car. And I believe the other one, I think Brian Herta actually drove the sister car, I believe. But unfortunately, I think that one had mechanical problems. Thankfully, this one didn't, and it ended up winning. So that was pretty cool. You got Michelin. That's actually spelled right on the back. And the right side is the same as the left side. So, yeah. You got the little Michelin man there. It's on both sides. And that one, I guess now we can kind of see the logos. It has IBOC and some other little logo I can't read. And it's part of the P900 class, which was their top class in ALMS at the time. So I have watched the race. I've watched the entire broadcast. It was pretty cool. You know, the track is kind of surreal. It was outside RFK Stadium. You know, even for being a street circuit, it looks really good for a street circuit. Very wide. You get a lot of places to pass and everything, which is not really something you could say about too many street circuits. But yeah, but unfortunately, like I said, one and done. It was supposed to go on for 10 years, so 2002 to 2012, they should have ran more. But unfortunately, couldn't happen. But it will happen this year, so that's cool to hear that we're going to do that. Even though, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening that I don't want to get into because we're going to start a war in the comments. But, you know, I mean, it's cool. You know, I love racing. How could I not? But, you know, at the same time, just circumstances, which, like I said, don't really want to talk about. But yeah, this is definitely an oddball car because now I have the 2002 Washington, D.C. Grand Prix winner, which is interesting that Hot Wheels made it. No one else did. Just Hot Wheels. And I actually applaud them for that. So we're going to do a little zoom out and show you all the cars that we just unboxed today. And it's a super unnecessarily long video, but hopefully it's worth it to y'all. Maybe you haven't learned about this series before, and hopefully now you'll have a bit of an understanding because, like I said, there's hundreds of other cars to collect from this series. But of course, to me, I love the race cars, so these are the only ones I really wanted. There's some other ones I really want too, like that Michael Schumacher F1 car or the Ferrari 333 SP from 1997 or 1998. Yeah, but I'm pretty happy to have these. I'm going to put them in my favorites box. How could I not? It looks amazing. And yeah, I'm very happy to have these. Do you have these? Have you collected these before? And how much do they actually retail for? That's what I'm curious. I wonder if they still sold them for like $5. But with the nice packaging, I wouldn't be surprised if it was higher than that. But anyways, I'm just rambling. So that has been a pretty long review of the 2003 Hot Wheels Hall of Fame series of diecast. Yeah, just the 3 cars. There's definitely more, but I'm not going to go too crazy and buy all of them. I just bought the ones that I like. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe. We're trying to reach those 1,000 subscribers. I know we can make that a goal very soon, y'all. And I'll see you next time. Peace.